Today we reach the halfway point on our journey across the country, Skipton. So let's see what this pretty little market town has got to offer. Welcome to Locks and Quays, and to a journey which takes us across the country from coast to coast. We've already done the Humber estuary and the Aire and Calder, and now we're taking great strides on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. There's a right rural feel to today's journey, with the route from Skipton to East Marton lined with stunning, serene canal scenery as we prepare to bid ta-ta to Yorkshire. I'm ready to jump off the Ward Aldham to explore Skipton and the spring branch of the canal that leads up to its castle. As boaters enter the town, they can turn right to continue along the Leeds-Liverpool Canal, or more up and leisurely walk along the pathway to the left. This is a spring branch arm just off Skipton Marina. We're only a few minutes from the town here. Now, I know it looks a little bit overgrown and possibly a little bit unloved, but it's still fully navigable. And up there, wow, look at that. That is Skipton Castle, and I'm hoping to be up there very soon. Sebastian, Skipton Castle, it really is fantastic, breathtaking. The word Skipton, where does that come from?
The word Skipton comes from the Saxon word skeep.
Skeep, and what's that?
A skeep is actually a sheep. So this is Sheep Town.
Okay, so was there like a marketplace before the castle, or did the castle come before the market?
Well, I'm not absolutely sure, but it probably wasn't a marketplace, but there would have been a little Saxon settlement on this hill.
Has it seen action?
Oh yes, it's been in 3 civil wars. Pilgrim of Grace, which was in 1530, and then we had the War of the Roses, where this was actually a Lancastrian castle, fighting for the Henry V. And then the last major battle was the English Civil War, when this was a royalist outpost in the north of England. And we surrendered on favourable terms, and all the soldiers were allowed to march out with their colours flying and bullets in their mouths. So we're very proud of that.
And that was the last action that it saw, was it?
Last major bit of action. There would have been the odd scuffles after that.
Yes, and now the scuffles are with the tourists, is that right? It's just a tourist event.
No, we love those scuffles. They're good scuffles to have, so.
These are just incredible, incredible views. It's so stunningly beautiful, but at the same time it's a bit scary, isn't it? How high are we here?
I think we're about over 100 metres. It's a good position for a castle because it's a very defensive thing to have, this height difference, and we're facing north, so it would have kept all the Scots out, which was the main aim.
Oh, I bet it would. I can see 3 distinct pieces of water here. One's the canal, isn't it? That one there?
Yeah, the first one's the spring branch of the canal, but originally it was one of the Earls of Thanet had a quarry up the hill, and to get the stone from the quarry, he basically transported it to the end of the castle, chucked it off the bank into the canal, and some of the boats used to sink when the stone used to go straight through the bottom of the boats.
And so what we're seeing here is an arm, but it ends just there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was built just to transport limestone from one of the quarries up the hill here. So I mean, it didn't need to go any further. So you see further down there's a turning point for the horses. So they used to take the boats apparently 2 weeks to get from Skipton up to this point, the end of the canal, Springs Branch, get filled up with stone, and then go back towards the Leeds-Liverpool canal.
I'm sort of recognising it now because we've walked along there, but it looks so totally different from up here. Oh, wow. More fantastic views. Wow. We see right over Skipton, can't we?
You can. In the distance over there, you can see Pendle Hill.
Yeah.
Which is in Lancashire, you know, the Witches of Pendle.
Yes. Over here, there's a motto carved in stone. What does that mean? What does it say?
It says Désormais, and that's a Clifford motto, meaning henceforth. And the Clifford Lords owned Skipton Castle from 1310 until 1956.
You can read that both ways, coming in the castle?
You can, yes. It's on the front as you come in, meaning, you know, from now on, here we go. And when you leave, you know, that same thought travels with you.
Well, I've lived in Yorkshire all my life. I've never been to Skipton Castle before, but I have to say, I'm going to come back again one day. It's beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I've got a boat to catch. Fenders of all shapes and sizes have long been a boat's last line of defence against the wear and tear of canal life. And thankfully, this age-old craft continues to thrive today, as offcuts of old carpet or worn tyres form a core before weather-resistant layers of rope are literally knitted together to form each buffer.
The biggest fender I made weighed about 1.25 tons, and it's for an Irish Trinity lighthouse service boat. But the majority of the work is these for the domestic canal business in this country. But I've sent fenders out to America, Australia, Germany, Norway. Everybody wants a rope fender. You're just keeping up with the demand for it. Well, you're only limited by your imagination. You can add any colour you like to it. You can put patterns into the weaving. You can make it any shape to suit your own boat. One guy asked me to make it in the shape of an elephant's head.
The true test of a fender, of course, is the resiliency offered by the ropes of all shapes and sizes that protect it. And whilst all boaters will agree that we need this craft to survive a day on the water, some may not realise just how ancient rope making really is.
They found rope in the pyramids, 3-strand rope made out of natural plant fibre, but it's exactly the same then as it is nowadays. It's never been bettered. It's a fantastic material, and it can go around bends indefinitely, and that's the only material that can do that without breaking down. So it's an old craft that goes back thousands of years. I've been doing it now for 10 or 15 years, and there's absolutely no sign of decline in the market, and people want traditional work, and it doesn't collapse, it stays forever, and it looks nice on a boat, and the traditional crafts of the rope work to go along with it. That's what people want nowadays. They want to make their boats individual, so this is one way of doing it.
I'm terribly sorry for holding you up.
Used
I'm very sorry. You've got a load of shopping as well.
A load of shopping as well.
I'm sorry I can't help you by carrying it. Sorry about that. must say that's quite unusual. Never seen that before. So many swans in one place. Must be somebody with a very large loaf of bread somewhere. Narrowboats are as varied as, say, cars are. There's different sorts, different qualities, in fact. There are standard narrowboats and there are tug narrowboats. This is a standard one, standard lines. You see it's quite high out of the water, the gunnel, that's the bit that you walk along the side. And it has ordinary windows, square windows like a house would have. This is the same, this has got square windows, so that's an ordinary narrowboat. That's got a cruiser stern, which means there's room for social activities. This, on the other hand, is a tug. It's lower in the water and it doesn't have square windows, it's got portholes. So it's goodbye to glorious Skipton as we make our way to Liverpool, which is 98.25 miles. Britain's waterways are used for all manner of pursuits and causes. And with my trusty travel guitar to keep me company, you could say that I'm happy with life today. But trust me, I've been boating for long enough to know that there may be more than one storm cloud on the horizon. Well, we're doing a journey from east to west, and here's a group of people who are doing exactly the opposite. So, K.A., how long have you been walking for?
We've been walking for 53 days now and walked up the east side of Ireland from Dublin to Belfast and then caught a ferry across up to Fastlane, and we're concentrating on going to all the nuclear facilities in Scotland and England on towards a nuclear-free future walk.
And how many people in the group?
There's 10 of us today, but we've had people join from all over the world, and local people join. We just had a woman from Settle join us for the morning, so different people come in and out of the group all the time. But this is the core group that have walked for a long time now.
Because you're Aussie.
Yep.
Any other nationalities here?
Another Aussie.
Oh, another Aussie.
Yeah.
You get everywhere.
Yeah.
And somebody that looks rather like Gandhi here.
I'm the American Gandhi.
You are the American Gandhi.
Right,
And you've been to
from Olympia,
wardrobe.
Washington.
You've been to wardrobe. You've been to makeup, obviously.
Yes, I've been working on it for 5.5 years.
And what are you wearing on your feet? Have you got Gandhi footwear?
Well, I've
no.
had to adapt. I usually wear sandals by themselves, but they're a little hard on my ankles to walk on this pavement stuff, so I've had to dress up a little bit.
Absolutely amazing. Well, it's been very interesting meeting you, and I have to say, the most peculiar thing we've seen so far on the waterways. I wish you good luck with your efforts. I knew we were going to see some unusual sights on this trip, but really, that takes the biscuit, doesn't it? Proof, if ever it were needed, that you really cannot predict who you'll meet along our inland waterways. Well, whilst I continue to cruise through the wonderful scenery of West Yorkshire, take a look at the campaign to clean up a unique stretch of the Bridgewater Canal in Worsley, a sedate Salford village synonymous with orange water caused by iron ore deposits from its heavily mined past.
A number of things are special about Worsley Delf. It's classed as one of the birthplaces of the Industrial Revolution. Francis Egerton, the third Duke of Bridgewater, had already made a decision to build the Bridgewater Canal, and they were quarrying the stone for the canal from the Delf. That's what opened the Delf up to the area that we can see today. His advisor, Brinley, worked out a scheme to open up the canal to the mine system where they were exploiting the mines in the land behind us. And this was an absolutely revolutionary idea. It achieved three things for them. One, it opened up the mines direct to the barges for transport for the coal onto the canal. Two, it's helped to drain mines that were currently flooded and unworkable. But it also created a water source for the canal. This made it the first canal in the country to be completely independent of a river supply for water. In relation to the delve, I'm largely responsible for trying to secure the funding to remove the iron ochre silt. It's a health and safety hazard. There are a number of implications in relation to the silt being in the canal. If somebody fell into the canal, the silt would basically act like quicksand. The iron ochre platelets sit together and trap a lot of water, and if somebody fell in or for any reason jumped into the canal, we think it could be quite difficult if there was nobody with them for them to get out. So that's the main reason the council have actually closed the delve to public access. One of the key aims would be to get that reopened if we can remove the silt. Obviously the silt's causing problems for barges on the canal. The iron ochre silt's actually responsible for the orange colour of the canal, and a lot of people are quite fond of the orange in the canal. So that's been one of the things we've had to overcome while we're talking about restoration plans. But I think everybody's used to the idea now and would prefer to see the canal a natural colour. The silt prevents any flora and fauna from surviving in the canal as well, so there's no fish, right down to insect larvae can't survive in it. The iron ochre's so thick in some places. The timescales in relation to this process are largely dependent on securing the funding. I think once the process starts, it'll take about 20 weeks, that's all. So less than half a year we could have the whole site cleaned up, all the iron ochre removed and disposed of, and the canal returning to its normal colour. There are a number of other implications in relation to removing the silt. We need to make sure we protect the historical remains around the delve, the archaeological remains, things like the starvation of boat in the water there. It'd be quite nice if we could restore that and use that as a visitor attraction on site later. I think it was 1759 when the canal began construction and they started opening the mines up. So we're just coming up to the 250 years since the pollution started. It'd be quite nice to remove it in time for that 250th anniversary.
It's been a strange day so far. For a start, it turns out that Skipton used to be in Lancashire, and no one seems to know where the county border actually is. And to be honest, no one seems to care too much anyway. Still, at least I can rely on one of the many interesting tales that seem to wait around every canal corner, and something tells me that another curious sight lies up ahead. Alan, over the years you've gathered a lot of knowledge about canals, particularly Leeds Liverpool. What can you tell us about East Marton Double Arch Bridge?
Well, the story I was always told by the old working boatman that originally it was just a one arch in the days of the old rough horse tracks and what have you. And the story goes that the top arch was actually installed when they built the turnpike road. If you know, the old stagecoach didn't want to come down with any steep inclines or descents, and it sorted that one out.
There's a relic, isn't there, on the far corner of the bridge?
Yeah.
There's a post which spins round. What was that?
One of the rollers. Yeah,
and that was to do with horses?
Yeah, that was to protect the hauling line. That's what, between the horse and the boat, to protect the hauling line against getting chaffed on the corner of the bridge on the stonework.
I've seen the chaffing marks often, but I've never actually seen a roller, so that's quite special, isn't it?
Yeah. Them grooves that you see, when a roller got worn or damaged, it fell out for a period of time, possibly with no roller, and them groove marks was a result of it. I've travelled most of the waterways, and I think it's one on its own. I think everybody recognises it, even if they've not sailed the Leeds and Liverpool, will recognise it from photographs. Everybody talks about it when I come across and get chatting to people.
And I happen to know that you have a little evil streak that says that one night after you've had a few pints, what is it you'd like to do?
Well, it'd be a little bit of mischief, perhaps get a tailor's dummy or something, dress it up in old clothes and put it in the top arch, you know, waving to boats going, going through, you know.
So, Alan, Hull is back that away.
Yep.
Liverpool's that
Liverpool's
away.
that way.
And East Martin is, in fact, it's like a milestone, isn't it? Because it marks the highest point.
Well, the highest point between watersheds, you've got a little bit further along here, a few miles, you've got the watershed where the rain falling, one side of the canal, it runs into the River Aire and the North Sea, the other side into the River Ribble and the Irish
And now we're
Sea.
changing counties.
And then you change, and the same, particularly the same area, you're changing the counties.
Within a mile or so, I'll arrive at Greenburfield Locks near Barnoldswick. This is such a splendid scene that the locals often have to share the canal with more than anglers or boaters. But these Lancastrians are, it is said, still a little confused about where to pin their colours, as their homes were actually a part of Yorkshire until the county border was moved in 1974. But one thing which is not in dispute is the fact that they are living in the highest town along the entire Leeds-Liverpool Canal. And after all, we're all northern and rightfully proud of it too. So I can't say I blame either county for wanting to claim this beautiful area as their own. Next time, Lancashire greets us with a weaver's tale, a bird's eye view of our second waterway wonder, and a cow in a tunnel. Yes, prepare for more strange goings on.
We're saying farewell to my home county, but we haven't quite finished with the White Rose just yet. Meanwhile, over in Red Rose County, I promise you the water is just as nice. See you soon.